First of all, hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. Thank you everyone for joining us today. This session is about navigating the SLCP verification journey, and we are going to talk about the SLCP process, what to expect during the verification, what the SLCP is all about, and how you can benefit from the program. So for everyone who doesn't know what SLCP stands for, it stands for Social and Labor Convergence Program. So this is a supply chain social verification program, so to say, and it basically helps factories and companies improve working conditions. Yes, and our goal for today is to make the verification process clear and easy to follow. And this webinar is for anyone involved in the SLCP, whether you're just starting or already have some experiences. So I think you will learn something today. But before we start the real session or the content, a short introduction from our side. This is me, this is Julia. I'm very happy to be here with you today. I have a background in geography and economics and completed my master's degree in environmental impact assessment and management at the Oxford Brookes University in 2023. And I'm at leadership and sustainability since 5 years now. And since about 1 year, I'm co-leading our supply chain team, basically overseeing and managing different verifications and certification schemes around the world. This, of course, includes SLCP, but also HIG-FVM and ZGHC, also Cradle to Cradle, and soon we will also have the Better Cotton program in our service portfolio. Yes, so we basically help make sure that the verifications run smoothly and meet all requirements. Yes, and we are working closely with companies to improve sustainability in the supply chains, both on the social side and the environmental side. So yeah, that was a quick introduction to me and our work at Leadership and Sustainability. And also here with me at this call today is Kim, and yeah, I'm handing over to her for her introduction now.
Yes, welcome everybody also from my side. I am Kim Bertis and I'm happy to guide you through this webinar today together with my colleague Julia. I have a bachelor's and a master's degree in international business, as well as a master's degree in sustainability and systematic management. And I have been with the company Leadership and Sustainability for about 3 years now. I have started as a working student and am now working as a sustainability manager for about a year. And as Julia said, together with her, I co-lead the supply chain team, and my role is really similar to hers. I am mainly responsible for the schemes HIG-FVM, ZHC Supplier to Zero, and Cradle to Cradle. And otherwise, I share all roles and responsibilities with Julia. And yes, now I hand back to Julia to start with the actual topics of this webinar.
Yes, thank you, Kim. Just 1 or 2 basics before starting the webinar. The Zoom, so there's some basics about the Zoom webinar platform. At first, I would like to mention that the audience will be muted during the webinar in order to ensure best audio quality, but please feel free to send us your questions during the presentation via the Q&A function. At the right-hand side, you can see a screenshot of the question function. So here you can find the button to open the chat window and just type in your question and send it to us, so we can take care of it and answer it either during the session or after the session. We will have a short Q&A at the end as well. And maybe that is also good to know for you, that we will provide the link to the recording and the presentation early next week. And also, before we continue, please note that the materials in the presentation are copyrighted, so they are the property of the SLCP program and Leadership and Sustainability. So please do not copy them or distribute them or use them without permission. That was all from the admin side. Now this is today's agenda. We already started with a short welcome and introduction. Then we will soon explain what SLCP is and why it is important for supply chains. Before we will then talk about the value of SLCP verifications. And later, Kim will walk you through the SLCP verification journey so you know what to expect at each step. And we will also share some tips on how to prepare for your verification. And last but not least, we will also have some time for your questions, for your specific questions. So let's first have a look at what SLCP is and why it matters. Yeah, I think it is common sense in this room that social audits are important to check social and ethical rules in facilities all around the world. So social audits measure working conditions and help improve them with which should always be on top of the priority list of brands, but also on the priority lists of the facilities. Also, they raise awareness of risks for workers and drive improvement all along the supply chain. But we are also very well aware that audits can be a burden and often drain resources, both financially and on the employee side as well. So many audits repeat the same checks, and this causes audit fatigue for both managers and workers. And yeah, finally, there need to be better ways to make audits easier and more useful. So this is where SLCP comes in, because SLCP is a program with many stakeholders working together, and it's one of its biggest or most important goals is to reduce audit fatigue and improve working conditions at the same time. So SLCP uses a shared framework to collect and verify social compliance data, while it is also worth mentioning that the data always belongs to the facility and can be shared with all their business partners, but it is not publicly available. So you choose the stakeholders who you would like to share your data with. And also, SLCP helps replace repeated audits and saves time and resources, as I already mentioned. Yes, and in the end, it provides trusted data that helps companies meet their due diligence requirements, which are, yeah, always more like more strict when it comes to also the legislative developments in the last weeks and months. So here you can see an overview of sections of the data collection tool. As you can see, it covers basically everything from facility profile to recruitment and hiring to working conditions, wages and benefits, everything you can see here, worker treatment, health and safety, worker involvement as well, termination, management systems, and also some above and beyond questions about the workplace and well-being and the community impact. So this is basically the data collection tool, what it covers. Also, I would like to mention that we will soon have SLCP training on our e-learning platform available that will cover, or that will give you a deep dive into selected sections, or basically all of them. And also on the SLCP website, you can find more detailed information about the sections. But just keep your eyes open regarding our upcoming e-learning training. We will share information once that is available. Here are we are listing some, or I'm listing some facts and figures around the impact of SLCP. So at the moment, around 90 organizations are accepting SLCP data, which is quite a big number. Also, at the moment, it is available in 119 countries and regions. SLCP has just enlarged their country coverage, and they calculated that SLCP assessments in 2024 covered around 6.6 million workers, which is a huge number in my opinion. And also on the financial side, they calculated that over $26 million have been unlocked through the use of SLCP converged assessments in 2024. So that was the money that could be saved due to the SLCP program. And last but not least, the SLCP signatory brands are widely using the data for their reports, for their sustainability reporting. So it really adds value to both brands and the facilities. And they are also really using it, and that shows how holistic also the assessment is. So just to give an overview about the brands and standard holders that accept SLCP data at the moment, here's an overview, a recent overview, but I think the list is growing on a weekly, daily basis. A lot of big names here, big players. For more detailed information, including which tiers, countries and tiers, brands and standard holders accept the SLCP data from, please visit the SLCP website. And here on the manufacturer side as well, a short overview for you. Yeah, also a lot of big manufacturers, and I think the same applies here, so the list is constantly growing. Now let's also look at the value of SLCP verifications. So there are, yeah, in total 5 values or benefits. No, let's first start with benefits of the converged assessments. So a lot of industry stakeholders must prepare for new laws and regulations coming soon or that are already in place. And it's important to gather data at all levels of manufacturing. And this is exactly what SLCP ensures on the social side. So this means collecting information from every part of the supply chain is key for being compliant with the legislation and other requirements. And SLCP enables us working together and helps us meet these goals faster and easier. And through SLCP, more data is now available to help us see industry trends. This also helps everyone involved in making decisions, make smarter decisions, like when it comes to sourcing decisions or reporting requirements or also improvement plans. SLP forms a good basis of all this work as well. And again, some facts and figures here. 60% of facilities that are using the SLCP program report time saved on audits, as I already mentioned. And also 43% said that owning their data improved relationships with partners, and also 38% reported quicker onboarding for new suppliers and buyers. So then let's come to some reasons why to choose SLCP. So most players state the efficiency. As I already said, it reduces audit duplication. And this saves time, money, and resources, of course. Facilities can use those savings to, for example, improve working conditions in form of improvement plans and real action. Then the data collection and sharing becomes easier and faster through streamlined processes. And also there are free trainings available for facilities to ensure efficient onboarding processes and to help facilities get started quickly. And also, this supports faster onboarding between brands and facilities. That is what we often hear from both brands or facilities. Second, the comprehensiveness. This is a holistic and flexible framework, and it works across many industries, but it is aligned with the OECD guidelines. So it gives a strong data foundation and helps check compliance with labor laws and standards. And last but not least, it supports human rights due diligence, as already mentioned, and helps spot risks and meet legal requirements at the same time. Third, it is the credibility, as all facilities use the same assessment method, and this just keeps the things fair and consistent. And also the third-party verification checks make sure that the self-assessment data is approved and correct, and this helps make sure the information is correct at all times. So there's strong oversight and a quality assurance strategy behind it from both SLCP and verification bodies. And fourth, it is the flexibility, because many users can access and use the data at the same time. Also, one assessment can be shared with many partners, and this obviously avoids the need for duplicate audits. So the data works with different scoring systems and standards, which also adds flexibility, both on the brand side and on the facility side. Yes, and it can always be adapted to meet specific needs. And always there are also external experts available to help interpret the data, but it is it is oftentimes easy to make sense of the data. Last but not least, it is that the facility owns the data and owns the assessment. This builds trust and shared responsibility, and basically everyone works together to improve labor conditions. Also, SLCP supports transparency and honest data sharing, so facilities can choose who sees their data and who's aware and who can comment on it, so to say. And workers are always encouraged to be part of the process. So this is what SLCP is about the workers, about the people involved. Yes, and finally, SLCP creates better conversations between suppliers and buyers, and it always helps focus on long-term improvements, not just quick fixes. And this finally makes your supply chain stronger and more efficient. And to visualize this, or to make that case illustrative, here's a short case study about Shahi Exports. This is an Indian company. It's even India's largest apparel manufacturer, who's operating 50 factories and four processing mills across 8 Indian states, I think. And it employs 100,000 people. And here on the right, you can see that Shai Exports adopted, or 90% of their facilities adopted SLCP in 2024. They started their SLCP journey back in 2019, and the number of facilities who adopted SLCP grew year by year, as you can see here in the chart. And in the box, you can see their time saved. So they calculated that they were able to cut 276 audits per year, and this summed up to a huge amount of hours, like you can see in the box. Yeah, and they state that the value added, or SLCP adds real value to their supply chain work, as it is widely accepted data, which can be compared, which can be collected in an easy manner, and yes, avoids duplicate audits. Also, the autonomy is one key argument for SLCP for them, because the consistent verification process reduces dependence on multiple third-party verification bodies, I think, and the credibility as well, because SLCP is a robust standard framework created through a multi-stakeholder process, so the data is customizable to various needs. And last but not least, it's the capacity, because the streamlined process just saves resources from them, for them. And now I'm handing over to my colleague Kim again, as she will talk about the details of the verification journey and what to expect.
Yes, thank you, Julia. I will now continue with the section on the verification journey and will explain what you can expect from an SLCP verification. The SLCP verification process is basically divided in 3 steps. The first step is to collect the data. The facility will complete the data collection tool, either alone as a self-assessment or with help as a joint assessment. The second step then is the actual verification, where we as the verifier body step in. The facility will select a verifier body, who in turn assigns the verifier. The verifier will then visit the facility to verify the collected data. And then the last step is to share the data. Once the verifier has completed and submitted the verification, the facility will receive the verified data in order to review it. The facility can then share the verified assessment report with selected business partners once they have approved the data. Generally, the verification can take place on-site, in a hybrid form, or remote. An on-site verification is conducted completely on-site. A hybrid verification allows for virtual meetings prior to the on-site verification. That means that opening meeting, procedure review, and management interviews can be conducted virtually. And this allows for time savings during the actual on-site visit. But as a disadvantage, it may increase the overall verification time. And lastly, there's the full virtual verification, but that is only allowed under very exceptional circumstances. In this case, the facility must complete the SLCP FVV online training course and also have the worker engagement technology installed. It is also called the WE tech. Yes, coming to the verification timeline, it basically all starts with the facility completing and then submitting the self or joint assessment on the AH platform. This usually takes about a few days up to 2 weeks. Between the submission and the verification date must then lay a minimum of 10 days, but a maximum of 2 months. The verifier will send a verification plan to the facility at least 5 working days before the verification takes place. And at most 4 days after the verification date, the verification will be closed and the findings and concerns are discussed during a closing meeting. 10 days after this closure, the verified report will then be available on the AH platform. The facility then has 30 days to review this report and to request edits or to disprove the report. And once the facility approved this report, then the verification is complete. Yes, Now, in the next section, I will guide you on how to prepare for your SLCP verification. So on this slide, we have depicted the task of the facility doing the verification process. And we start with everything prior to the verification. So prior to the verification, the facility needs to complete 100% of the self or joint assessment with honest data. Then they need to select a verifier body and work together with the verifier body to schedule the verification. And lastly, they need to contact the end users to understand if they require any specific data to be included in the report. Then we come to the process doing the verification. There, the facility needs to provide on-site access to the verifier, and that includes relevant documents and personnel. And they need to clarify all concerns and questions as early as possible and at least 48 hours after the on-site visit. And lastly, after the verification, the facility needs to review the verified assessment report once that is available, and they should review that in detail prior to approving it, because once it's approved, it cannot be opened again. So now I will talk about different processes or different tasks of the facility. So the first task that we will talk about is reaching out to a verification body. And yes, that slide, thank you, Julia. Yeah, and to select a verifier body, you should first reach out to them. If you reach out to us, please send us the following information and we are happy to send you a proposal. We would need the country and location within the country, the size of the facility or the compound, the number of workers and the demography of the workers, the number of virtual verification activities, or if requested, a full virtual verification. We would also need additional facility conditions, for example, if there are any specialized operations, if there are very large compounds, or if there's more than one location associated with the business license. And then we would need to know if it's a step 1, 2, or 3 assessment. And yes, on the next slide, I will explain the differences between step 1, 2, and 3. So basically, you can choose between these 3 different steps. And when you select for step 3, step 1 and 2 will also be included. The same if you select for step 2, step 1 is also included. The first step is the essential step, and that includes the key social and labor compliance questions that are mostly connected to international labor standards and to national labor laws. The second step is then the progressive step, and that focuses on management systems and questions that are additional or supportive social and labor compliance questions. These questions are often found in social industry and certification standards. And lastly, the third step is then the advanced step, and that includes questions that go above and beyond the social responsibility and seek to elevate workplace well-being and community impact. Yes. Once you have reached a decision for the verifier body, you will then need to be active yourself and you will need to select your verifier body on the accredited host platform, which is also called the AH platform. Then during the on-site verification, you should support the verifier. And that can be supported by the internal team by preparing, for example, the staff and also for preparing all paperwork that is needed for smooth and fast verification. During the verification, the verifier will conduct, for example, management staff interviews, on-site observations, document reviews, and worker interviews. And altogether, this on-site verification should not take longer than 4 consecutive working days. And in order to not exceed these 4 days, there's also the option to have 2 verifiers conducting the on-site verification. That would make the process a bit faster. Yes, then as our last agenda point, please let me inform you on some updates to the CAF. And the CAF actually stands for the Converged Assessment Framework, and that is the framework by which the assessment by SLCP takes place. Yes, last month, Wordly actually has launched the CAF version 1.7 that happened on the 10th of April this year. And the earlier version, the CAF version 1.6, can now only be completed by those facilities who have started their assessment prior to the 10th of April. And these facilities need to finalize their assessment until the 10th of October this year because they only receive 6 months to finalize it. As Julia already has said earlier, there's about 119 countries now where SLCP is available. And here on the link of the gateway, you can find a complete list of which countries are accepting and approved for SLCP. Yes, then what is also new is that the CAF version 1.7 is available in 5 languages. It is available in Chinese, English, Spanish, Turkish, and Vietnamese. But please note that facility answers must still be given in English, regardless of the language you choose to view the CAF in. So that is important that all answers are still in English. Yes. And what is actually new with the CAF version 1.7 is that new questions have been added. There have also some questions been deleted and also moved to a new position. Numeric data type requirements have been updated. Furthermore, questions that seem repetitive in step 1 have now been separated and then moved to step 2. And questions to support human rights due diligence have been added, as well as question wordings have been updated to make it a bit more clear to identify non-compliances. And additionally, questions in the management system section have also been streamlined. And we also have linked here the site with the CAF version 1.7 update. So for more information, please visit this link that is shown here. Yes, and with that, we actually have covered all topics regarding SLCP verifications already. And now as a last chapter, I would like to introduce our company to you before we then open up for questions. On this slide, you can see a map of where our verifiers and trainers are located. And you can see that we actually serve a wide spectrum of countries, especially in Europe, Africa, and in Asia. But on the next slide, we also have a complete list of where our SLCP verifiers are located. So we have SLCP verifiers in Bangladesh, Bulgaria, China, India, Indonesia, Pakistan, Romania, Tunisia, Turkey, and Vietnam. And we are approved to perform verifications in the countries of Bangladesh, Bulgaria, North Macedonia, China, India, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, Malaysia, Pakistan, Romania, Kenya, Mauritius, Madagascar, Morocco, Tunisia, Turkey, Vietnam, Cambodia, Myanmar, and Thailand. So if your facility is located in these countries, then we are really happy to help you with your SLCP verifications. Yes, and about leadership and sustainability, we have a team of about 80 consultants and auditors, and we aim to help companies become sustainability leaders in their industry. And yes, we do offer strategy services as well as supply chain services. I will now first talk about what our supply chain team does, and they specialize in social, environmental, and chemical audits and trainings. And our expert verifiers and trainers provide reliable and worldwide support. Our team performs audits and trainings for SLCP, for HKFEM, and ZHZ InCheck and Supply to Zero. But moreover, we also validate facility data management, and we are an approved cradle-to-cradle assessment body. And as Julia mentioned earlier, we are now also approved for Better Cotton certifications. And we can also support with audit evaluations, supplier scorecards, supply chain strategies, and supplier handbooks. Here you can see our LNS Academy platform. And yes, that is our very own learning platform. And here we offer self-paced courses. And what Julia also mentioned earlier is that soon we will launch a comprehensive SLCP training series. So please stay tuned for that training series. And then our strategy team, they bring extensive experience in the textile and hard goods industry, and they can provide climate solutions and insights. Furthermore, they can train and empower your team for sustainability success and offer verification and assurance services tailored to your needs. Yes, that was it from our company presentation. And now we will open up for questions. So if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A box or function here. Yes, are there any questions?
Not yet, I think.
Yes, I think we can just wait a minute and see if any questions come in.
Yes.
Also, if now you don't have the chance to ask a question, but in the meantime or after this webinar you come up with any questions, you're also free to contact us. And before we close this meeting, I think Julia will also share our contact information slide. So here you can see our contact details, our website, and also the info@leadership-sustainability.com mail address. And to that mail address, you can then send all questions that come up after this webinar.
I think in that case, we can close this session. And as always, already stated, please always feel free to reach out either via our website or directly via email. Yeah, we are happy to answer questions, whatever is in your mind. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for
Thank you
joining
for joining.
today, and have a nice day.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.